What's good, guys? Bass Angler 123 here, because where I come from, we can make bass angling as easy as 123. I'm your host, Alex Schmidt. Everybody knows I'm one of the best bass fishermen around here. I know all the spring tactics, all the summer, winter, fall, you name it, I know it. So today, it is August 24th or 23rd, I don't know. I think today is August 24th. Right when we're starting to get into fall, the air temp is cooling down a little bit, but it's still considered summertime. What I like about that? Top water baits. I always love throwing top water baits early in the morning or in the afternoon, because the bass during midday they're gonna be under structure, seeking hiding from the sun. Basically, I don't want to sound like a 5-year-old. Yeah, they're gonna be. They're gonna be up underneath cover. So here are my tactics for morning. Weedless frog. Everybody's probably familiar with the weedless frog. It's a very versatile bait. Just all you gotta do, throw it in pads, throw it in the grass, throw it everywhere. Because that thing is weedless, it ain't going nowhere. Unless it gets wrapped around a branch, and then you got trouble. What I like to use on a hollow belly frog, 50 to 65 pound braid. The brands I use are Suffix or Spiderwire. Spiderwire not so much because they come on thin spools. I could barely spool them up on my reels. Sorry Spiderwire, but you're just not as good as Suffix. Suffix comes on giant spools and it's super cheap. Well, not super cheap, they're like $14 a spool, but that's pretty cheap for braid. So hollow belly frog, we've got that one down. Now, hollow belly frog, a spook, a popper, a buzzbait, anything that'll make a lot of surface disturbance on the surface, firing those bass up. What I usually tend to do, see the bass busting, throw a swim bait, see if they're active. Then after I throw that swim bait, I'll throw that popper out there to see if they'll bust on that popper. And that swim bait usually gets them really fired up. They're getting mad, they're getting angry at it. So as soon as that popper hits the water is when they just come up and crush it, all right? You don't even have to move it. You just, boop, almost dropped my phone. The thing is, poppers, pop, 4 seconds. I go 4 seconds without another movement, just to give it that time for that bass to notice the bait. If you're fishing in super clear water, which I prescribe doing with the popper, if you're fishing in super clear water and you see the bass coming up to your bait, do not pop it in their face. Just kind of barely twitch it, and that'll usually get them fired up enough to come, hit it. So that's early morning. Midday, you can actually use a hollow belly frog in midday. You just won't see a big splash, and sometimes you won't even notice that they took your frog. All of a sudden, you'll just see your line jump and keep going, which is a big problem for me, because when that usually happens, that usually means that they get gut hooked. And believe me, guys, a gut hooked fish isn't a fun fish. That's what I always say. So you have to really watch your frog. Because when they're midday, flip it in pads, because they're sitting right up underneath those pads, and just flip it in there and twitch it back. They'll just come up, slurp it, and go back down with it. That's all it takes. Or I get like a Zoom structure bug, or whatever those structure bugs called. Structure bug. Or since I'm down here in Rosenberg, Texas, where I live, I use anything in black neon, which is basically black with red flake. It's a really good style. I love using either Strike King Perfect Plastics, Rodent, or the Big Bite Baits Yo Mama 4-inch. 4-inch baits are my minimum, or my maximum. I usually don't go over 4-inch. I do have 5-inch swim baits, but I never use those. At least I haven't yet. I do have Gamakatsu 3-aught hooks to go with them. And I have some Big Bite Baits 1/8 shaky heads for the crawls. Now, technically, I know you're not supposed to shaky head crop, but I can, because there's a goddamn mosquito flying around me. Oh, okay, that he landed on me and bit me. But yes, it's Always important. Now, nighttime fishing or evening fishing, go to top water or black and blue jigs. You want dark. Fish don't see, they sense it. They don't see it, they sense. So fishing at night, big swim baits, black and blue swim baits, usually the color I use. Big swim baits, big jigs, anything big and dark I use at night. I usually do not bass fish at night, so it's not really common to me. I usually bass fish during the midday or in the morning. I mean, if you do bass fish at night, it's perfectly fine. Just use something big and dark. And try to match the hatch with the coming years. Say bluegill are spawning, try to go with the bluegill style bait, because you just want to mimic the bait that are out there, because you don't want to be throwing a swim bait when you're trying to represent a frog, right? Frog spawn, the bass are eating the frogs. You don't want to throw a swim bait out there, right? Because the bass are going to be eating the frogs and not the swim bait. But yeah, match the hatch. Always match the hatch. It's one of the big things in fishing. That's probably one of the number one rules I follow. Well, number 2 rules.